Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Very warm welcome to everyone who is joining us online on Zoom or YouTube or Facebook, and extra special warm welcome to everyone who is at the center in person, right? Extra effort gets some extra credit. So it's very good to be here with you guys. So today is our Thursday meetings, the usual ones. And just a very quick overview of what we are offering as community services. I'm sure everyone has it by heart by now. I'm still seeing people are slowly joining us, so that'll give us a little bit more time for people to be there when the lecture starts. So we offer online meditation at afternoon, Power Boost. Monday to Friday. And then we also have in-person meditation at the center, Oasis of Peace, from 6 to 6:30 every evening. And then we have our Thursday talks. We also have started our in-person retreat, which is nothing but our short meditation course. So instead of doing it for 2 days, we offer 1 day in-person retreat at the center from 10 to 3. So we just finished this for the month of June. It was on 22nd, which already passed, but you can mark the date for month of July. It's on July 27th. So without further delay, I'm going to invite Sister Rona to share her thoughts on laughing with the universe. Very warm welcome, Sister Rona.
Good evening, everyone. And nice to have everyone with us. Laughing with the universe. How to use humor on a spiritual path. But before we start, maybe we can have a few moments of silence. And in this silence, maybe one thing to reflect on is what is the state of your ability to amuse yourself and be amused. How much is humor a part of your virtues and your value system? Thank you. When in high school, there was a teacher that one of the teachers that we had, and one of the things that he used to say, he was a history teacher, and he used to tell us the downfall of humanity happened when individuals forgot to smile. The downfall of humanity, and he used three things. The downfall of humanity started to happen when individuals forgot to smile, when adults forgot to play, and when laughter, or not laughter, what you used to say, a humorous attitude is not valued anymore. And this is many years ago. But he used to repeat this often, and I didn't understand much of what he was meaning by that. But he said, we need to learn to play again. We need to learn to smile again. And we need to learn to value humor more. And then many things in life will be different. At least this was his vision. And it kind of stayed with me for a long time. And now I'm beginning to much more understand and appreciate what he is saying. But he was saying, but now with my spiritual background, I also have a method to be able to smile and to be able to laugh. Because if we're in an ordinary, mundane mindset, there might be very little that we have to feel amused about or to smile for, but to create an inner attitude where you can smile, where you can see the humor of things, where you can use humor also to make yourself more light. And you know what is an easy way to be more light? A very easy way. Anyone? Sing loud in the bathroom. Not only in the bathroom, but definitely in the bathroom. Sing loud in the bathroom. It doesn't matter how it sounds anyway, because it's just water and whatever. But the habit of singing, somehow it brings a certain lightness inside. Mm. And you can entertain yourself through. Doesn't mean your life changes in terms of external circumstances, but your mood changes when you do that. And it is good to find little things. You know, when there is some situation that is a bit difficult or some tension or whatever, I do this. I still don't like others to hear, but I start singing inside, and it really shifts very quickly. And have some simple songs that you sing for yourself all the time. But of course, this is a very simple and maybe even a bit superficial, but it is a good strategy. You know, when children are small, when there are children, even babies, what do they do naturally?
They babble.
Sorry?
They like coo and babble and
They
make
coo and they
noises.
babble and they make noises, but they play. You know, babies, they play with their fingers, with mother's hair, anything in their surround. They just play. If they don't play, it is a sign that something is wrong. They are in pain, or they are hungry, or they start crying, or whatever. But if they don't cry, then they play. And they play with anything. They play with their own mouth or their lips or their teeth, gum, or anything. Their attitude of playing is part of our innate being. It's part of our innate nature. But over time, we lose that sense of play. No, many people like, why do we like games and sports so much? Even as a nation, collectively, there's something deeper in us that is made to play. It is made to amuse ourselves, to amuse others, to have fun. It is part of our nature. But something happens to us and we get out of that. And we become so serious and so tense, and oh, this had to happen, and we forget to smile. We forget to laugh. We forget to be amused. We forget to play. And why is that? What is that mindset in us? Or maybe there are several types of mindset that make us lose the game spirit, lose the play spirit, lose the fun spirit. Even when you look at your own life growing up, when did that shift happen? As a little child, I'm sure, even children in difficult circumstances, even children in dysfunctional family situations or dysfunctional community situations, children, they play. We all must have seen these scenes of countries that are poor and or maybe even war. But when you see little children, they play. They throw stones in a game, or they jump or something. They find something to play. What happens to us that we lose that play attitude? If you look back at your own life, what is it that make us become so what is the opposite of play? What is the opposite of humor? Anita?
The word which is coming to my mind is glum. Really mood,
Numb.
which is
Yeah.
glum.
Numb. Yeah.
You're not even sad. You're just like, just don't want to be relaxed.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reason why we lose this is that we start judging ourselves and seeking acceptance from others. Kind of mix of both. We judge ourselves and we want, and then we just can't be.
Indifferent. Yeah. Lorraine is saying indifferent. We become indifferent. That is one other thing also. Yeah. No, so we start judging ourselves, and but that is what Anita is saying, based on
Yes, based on how people are, view like seeing us. We seek others' acceptance, and then in that cycle of acceptance, we start judging ourselves, and that pulls ourselves down. And
Hmm. Hmm. Any other thoughts? What may, when you, if you just reflect on your own life, when you look back at even when little, what made us lose that game? Even when I was young, we had so many different games, even self-invented games, but also sports. And we never used to get tired of swimming or playing tennis or football or whatever. You never get tired of it. Your parents have to call you home and you go home just because you have to, but not because you get fed up of playing. What happened to us? It's the same world is there, same people, Overthinking about future and past. Very good.
Low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem, yeah, is connected with what Anita was also saying, judging yourself based on expectations of others or what you think others expect. Responsibilities start to pressure us. You start having homework to do. You start having homework to do. Any other thoughts? You recognize this, no? That some stage that, of course, we don't have to be childish for the whole of our lives, but why do we lose that playful nature? Just because now we are adults? What is all the things that mentioned are there? We forgot. We just forgot. One thing, observing my own journey, one thing that started to happen is desires started to be formed in the mind. And many of those desires were not necessarily based on true needs. Because there is some level of needs that need to be fulfilled for this body to be sustained. And but deeper behind, there are many fabricated desires. And fabricated based, of course, on what society tells us, what society shows us as a model of how a good life should be, of what the television promises you that will make you happy, of what advertisements tell you how you should be, what your peers may be telling, maybe even the adults around you, you may be telling, but certain ideas start forming in our mind. And based on those ideas, we create needs and desires and expectations of ourselves also. And if we don't meet those expectations, of course, our self-esteem drops. And then the pursuit of those many of those perceived needs and many of those perceived desires, the pursuit of that makes us lose our attitude of playfulness. It makes us lose our ability to use humor in our lives. And sometimes I like to listen or read some of these comedians. No? But these days, I don't know, comedians these days, they are not very funny anymore. Much of the comedy is making fun of other people or criticizing other people, or criticizing other people's weakness or appearance. Is that humor now? How they call that? Just like cynicism, actually, and then laughing at it. So even the quality of what in today's world we call humor has diminished so much. Now, part of our spiritual journey is to come back to that childlike innocence and that childlike playfulness, not childish, but childlike, a deeper sense of purity and innocence in dealing with our everyday circumstances and everyday life situations, in dealing with whatever needs to be done in terms of sustenance of the body, sustenance of family responsibilities, but using humor and using the attitude of play to go about those things. Now, what is one of the basic, what is it? The foundations for play? When do you call something a play? When would you, what is the, the characteristic of a play or a game?
When it will give you pleasure, you will have fun with it,
Yeah, okay.
or pleasure.
Mhm. Anything else? There is engagement, yes. Attention, you pay attention.
Competition.
Some, not always, some level of competition is there, but competition is not there in the sense of making anybody feel bad, but competition is in refining your skills. No? That is the original or the pure idea behind a play. Not it is not to defeat, but it is that everyone brings out their best and skills. Mm-hmm.
During play,
Yeah.
temporarily, we don't identify with ourselves. There is so much fun
Yeah.
and joy. So that is joy is again our true nature.
Mm-hmm.
So we momentarily fall into that.
Mm.
In those moments,
Mm.
forget.
Yeah,
our-
or you step out of the roles where you have to be serious, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Just absorb in that.
Yeah.
So in that moment, yeah.
I remember my father, we used to play these board games, and he would become like a child, and, wanting to win, and the dice, waiting for the highest point of the dice. And he's very different when he's at the office, when he's the boss and he tells everybody else. But then he was like a play, like, a little boy, and he would have so much fun. Yeah, so you step out of those roles where you're supposed to be so serious. What else?
There is a sense of freedom.
Mm,
Nobody is judging, nobody is, it's
mm,
like you said about your father, right? It's like the concept of age and all that just kind of disappears. There's a sense of freedom, and
yeah,
everyone is just like there's no hierarchy, kind of, it's more flat, and
very
everyone kind of becomes part of a team, and
excellent.
you just enjoy it.
Yeah, excellent. Now, there is the game. It remain. Of course, this has now become, many of the sports have become so commercialized and so competitive that it loses that spirit. But originally, traditionally, game is like equals, no? And win or lose ultimately doesn't matter. You just go home and everyone is okay. And everyone is, during the game spirit, it is just about refining your skills and your talents, refining and playing it out and having fun. Now, I just want to throw in some more revolutionary idea. When it comes to spirituality, could we treat life as a game? Would it be possible for us to create such a mindset that life itself becomes a game? Let's go to the board, and we'll use some drawings to maybe help us grasp this idea a bit further. Is it visible?
Yes,
Both,
Shona. Yeah,
everything okay?
it's good.
Okay, so this concept, this spiritual understanding of ourselves as players in this game of life. But for that, we first need to understand ourselves properly. The spiritual understanding is that we are spiritual beings, beings of consciousness, invisible beings, souls. And this being of consciousness uses the body for a temporary period. And there are many things around, the whole world and the whole physical objects and people and position, possession, money, all these things are there. But the soul is using the body and experiencing this human experience for a temporary period. There is the beginning of the body and there is the end of the body. But the beginning of the body and the end of the body doesn't mean the beginning and the end of me, the soul, the being of consciousness, the invisible player, the one who creates thoughts, one who has feelings, one who has certain tendencies, habits, likings, dislikings. That is the being. The body is temporarily the vehicle. Now, if I see myself, I feel myself, I understand myself to be this being of consciousness, a spiritual being, innately playful, innately pure, innately peaceful, innately loving. This is how we come in this world. And then we come in this body to play out the game of human life. And in a game, there are all kinds of situations. In a game, there are all kinds of toys. In a game, there are challenges. In a game, you bring out your what is it? You have to refine and train your skills. So you play the game of human life. And ultimately, win or lose, it doesn't matter because you remain the soul forever. So when this game finishes, you remain the spiritual being, the living light, the soul. Anyone want to say anything? It was nice when you were putting on your cameras. It's anyway nice to put on the camera. Does this make sense? Anyone want to say anything so far? So if we take an even bigger perspective, so if we are spiritual beings, souls, we come from a world that is spiritual, a spiritual dimension, a dimension of silence, a dimension of light, a dimension of stillness, a dimension of timelessness, a dimension of eternity. This world is called the home of souls, the soul's world, or the dimension of silence or nirvana, the soul's world, where we exist as divine living lights, a family of souls, pure, peaceful beings of light, the home. We have come from there and we will return there. This is the home of God, the Supreme Soul, one who is ever pure, ever peaceful, ever loving, ever wise, who never gets trapped in this seriousness and desires and needs. And so from this home, we come to play. This is like the playing field. This is the play, and the playing field is the world of matter. And there is time here, there is change, there are objects, there are sounds, there are bodies, there is money, there is your cell phone, there is nature, this is the sun, there are pets, there are cars, there is job, there is culture, there is politics, all kinds of, this is a huge variety game with many, 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 many different options and possibilities and different scenes. And the players come from the home. They use a body to play with all these toys, to play with all these different situations. We play this game and then we go back. But a play, a game, if we forget that it is a play and a game, then we get into much seriousness. This is me and this is mine and this is mine and I want more and I need more and I expect more, and then somebody criticizes your job, you think you are nothing, and someone says you are not rich enough for me, you feel bad, your body is not according to the certain beauty standards, you feel ugly. We start identifying with these things and we start creating attachments and bondages and desires and expectations. And the whole game spirit is gone. And the game becomes a war zone. The game becomes a place where we feel everything is a struggle. And so to use this bigger perspective and to come back into this attitude of being a spiritual, this awareness of being a spiritual being. And we have come to play this game, and we have many, many skills. But we need to awaken them, we need to refine them, we need to nurture them. And we need to nurture this bigger perspective. Then you will find many situations are actually hilarious. And I live in Manhattan. If you walk on the streets of Manhattan, you find a million things to complain about. But those same things you can also laugh about. If you just shift your mind, this is hilarious. Somebody spitting all over the place. Somebody honking what is it? The horn. Somebody showing fingers. Somebody walking half naked. Somebody walking backward. Somebody, all kinds of. It is hilarious if you look at it from that mindset of an observer, mindset of a player. You know, we often ask, what is this? You know, this body is like a miracle. These hands are like miracles. Even this mic and this Zoom, these are man-made miracles. We just need to shift our attitude. Many toys are given to us to play this game. But then we start, I need more mics, I need more this, I want more that, I want this, I want that. You lose the game spirit. And we can't smile anymore. Now, we can't change the situations around us. I can't change the way people dress outside. If I choose to be upset about it all the time, I can. But who? Then I'm just, what is it? Making my own life miserable. But I can also be amused. Someone wearing like this, someone like that, someone whole here, something there. It's kind of amusing, their creativity. Expression of their individuality is amusing, and it is even to some extent you can have feelings of at least respect. Someone wearing long nails, someone short nails, someone long eyelashes, someone different color eyelashes is creativity. Vimal, you might express your creativity differently. That's fine.
Yes. Too much freedom.
I don't think it's a question of freedom. It's too much of a habit to analyze things. You say, I mean, I always feel the definition of normal nobody knows, because normal is a very commonly used and poorly defined
A
word.
game, nothing needs
Yeah,
to be
it's a game.
normal.
So, I mean, whatever is your normal may not be somebody else's normal. And
That's true. That's
uh,
why it comes, there is no standards.
Yeah.
no, everyone has its own standard, and it's
But that's
okay.
now how the
No,
society will
no,
work.
no.
Sorry.
This is not to apply on others. This is to help you in your own mindset. How do you, it doesn't mean you, it is not a question of, ultimately, there are the laws of karma. Ultimately, there are value systems and principles. That's a different thing. To play the game right, you also understand what is useful karma, what is not useful karma. To play the game well, it is also good to understand what comes from a mindset of taking and needing and anger or arrogance or lust or greed, or what comes from a mindset where there is peace, where there's a feeling of harmony, where there's love for the being instead of for the expressions. That is very different. But for you yourself to position in that attitude of game, there are all kinds of aspects to the game.
Yeah.
And it
Now,
helps
sister,
you. Hmm?
when I walk now, I think, don't look at the body, don't look at the body. I have to remind myself, don't look at the body.
Yeah. So to use humor, to use the attitude of play on the spiritual path, it helps you to remain light. And when you are light, it is much more easy to be peaceful, to have a smile, to, to be clear also. Your thinking is much less heavy and much less distorted when there is inner lightness. Hmm? Another way to position yourself in life is like this. Now we, the being of consciousness, the souls, we have come into this world to play the game, to play it right. But the first thing we need to do is to remember who we truly are and where we have come from. And of course, we also need the wisdom to understand how the game evolves and what are the rules of the game to play the game well. But first, re-establish again that game spirit. Re-establish again that ability to look with humor at this whole thing. And whole thing that includes this body also, that includes Rona. It is a part of the game. Soul is a living light, pure, innately divine and wise. But we've forgotten who we are. And then we wander around here trying to create a sense of value and a sense of importance and a sense of identity based on what we can accumulate here. But sooner or later, the game finishes. You are not the game. You are not the toys. You are not the body. You are not the human personality. You are a spiritual being. You are not mere mortal. You are an immortal soul, innately with God-like nature and innately belonging to the Supreme. So players in any game, players, they feel happy to play the game as long as they remember that it is a game. As long as they remember that after the game finishes, they will go home and they have everything home. They have come from there. And even in the game, those who were their opponents, when we are home, we are brothers or we are friends behind the game. So same, this bigger game. And what is useful also in your spiritual practices to refine again your thinking and your discernment power, to have an intellect that can see this bigger picture and appreciate this bigger picture. Because we have become so narrow visioned. We just see this is me and this is mine and that's it, as if there is nothing else beyond. We can't even see that we are on a much larger journey than this present few years. So,
I have a question.
go.
How do you know when you're thinking something, if it's your brain or your soul that's doing the thinking?
It is not the brain that is thinking. The brain is the tool with which thoughts can be expressed. But it is just like an instrument, like a guitar. The music is not in the guitar. But to make the music, you use the guitar so that it can be heard and that it can be shared and that it can be experienced as music. But the music is in the one who is playing the guitar. So the ideas, the concepts, the likings, dislikings is of the being. But we use the brain to give it form and to give it expression, even in the form of a thought in our own head. And then to bring it into action also, that is the brain is used. But the brain itself doesn't have the ability to think. The brain is like matter. It is made up of 5 elements. And so it is the living conscious being who has thoughts and then uses matter to give it form and to express it. but it is the being who has thoughts and feelings, whether they are good or bad. The brain is part of the body. Brain is part of the instrument, a very sophisticated instrument, a very sophisticated toy. But the one who is using the toy, the one who is experiencing the bodily sensations, making the bodily functions do what needs to be done, that is the soul, the life force, the living conscious energy of the being, of the soul. So any thought, it is not the brain. Any other thoughts? So just to play with this idea itself is a play, no? To have this attitude of try in every situation, just as if in your mind, step back and try to look at it from as if from a higher perspective, as if from up above, and you watch it. Many times you will find all these complicated emotions as if dissolve. See the fun in it. I try to bounce my thoughts off the, I can't read. Actually, there are many comments. Anita, maybe you could.
Sister Ona, you actually read them along when they were coming. I can read the last one. I tried to bounce my thoughts off the divine teachings as I understand it to be.
Very good. Yeah.
And actually, somebody has said their name is not there. That's tricky. I have hard time differentiating.
You have to play any game well, no? We don't need to know the rules better, understand the dynamics of the game, to train and refine our skills. All of that is there. And this is what is the part of the spiritual journey. Part of your skills is your discernment, your refinement, the wisdom with which you play the game. The perspective to hold the bigger picture is absolutely necessary. Even to be able to consider this as a game of life, we need to know what is beyond the game. And this is where meditation comes in. This is where our spiritual practices and our spiritual studies come in, to explore and to expand our vision of self as an invisible, immortal, imperishable, timeless being of light, a player. To emerge the memory of the time when we were in the home, in the soul world. And all of those things you do in silence. You guide your mind and wake up again to that memory, that long forgotten memory. Wake up again to the awareness of the self as a being of light. And these are things you explore and experience again and remember again in meditation. And through the different practices and the what is it? Exposing yourself to spiritual wisdom, all of that helps you to play this game better, to reinforce also the awareness of this whole thing as a game. And to understand the rules and the dynamics of the game, the laws of the game, all of that will make you play it better, but it remains a play. Okay. Okay? This is for you to reflect on and to learn to smile at the universe. See the deeper secrets behind the different scenes of the drama of human life. And to not get stuck in any one moment or in the past, or to get stuck on some desires or expectations, or to get stuck on some idea that I carry about myself or about others or about certain situations. Step back. And meditation is a very beautiful practice to do that. Just step back and come back to the awareness of the self as this pure, timeless, living light. One who originally belongs to that home of light. Reconnect again with the Supreme and remember the beauty of that one who is remembered in all traditions and religions as God, the one who is like a father, a friend, one who is ever playful, ever pure, ever loving, one who never loses this total perspective. And to experience the mental company of that one. And it wakes up your memories, it wakes up your own higher nature. And then you approach this game, you approach this body, you approach the scenes of the drama of human life with a different attitude. Somebody honking the horn and you say, oh, this is a prompt in the game for me to be extra peaceful, to spread vibrations of peace all over. Who is stronger? The one honking or my peace?
Sister, so what can we say about the rules of the game of life?
And that is a different session, and maybe not just the lecture, but the law of karma, the laws of karma.
Will come in that.
Yeah. The laws of virtuous action, the laws of, at present, our society has the mindset of desiring and wanting, but life it may not be the rule that we are here to desire and then we get, but maybe it is how much can we give. I'll share a story and then maybe we can do some meditation to illustrate this. So some of you may have heard this story because I love this story. It is a poem by Ravindranath Tagore, the first non-Western Nobel Prize winner for literature, and he wrote a collection of poems. And especially one poem I like very much. This is poem on the beggar and a king. The beggar and the king. And in this story, there is a beggar who begs in the village from door to door. And one day he wakes up and he has a feeling that something will be different today. And he goes out, and on the horizon he sees a golden light. And that light is approaching his village. And he says, really, something different today. And this light comes even into his street where he is walking. And this golden light is actually a golden chariot on which the King of Kings is sitting, God. And so this beggar thinks, okay, this is my lucky day. I will get now everything and I will be rich for the rest of my life. Finish with begging. And so the King of Kings in his golden chariot stops in front of the beggar, and the King of Kings gets off the chariot. And the beggar is ready with his list, what he's going to ask. But to his surprise, the King of Kings stretches out his hand and says, "What do you have to give to me?" And this poor beggar, completely disillusioned. But this is God, he can't say no. So he goes into his pocket and he looks for the smallest of smallest of smallest of piece of grain that he can get, takes it out and he puts it in the hand of the King of Kings, who says, "Thank you," smiles, turns around, gets off on the chariot, and is gone, leaving this poor beggar to continue to beg. So he goes on begging, and in the night he comes home and he empties his pockets, he empties his bags. And on the kitchen table, between all the pieces of grains and bread, he finds a little piece of gold, just as small as the grain that he had given to the King of Kings. And the last phrase of this poem is, "I wished and I wept that I had had the heart to give him my all." And I think this is one illustration of the rules of the game. It is not about how much we can get. How much can I give? And this is what will come back to us. And maybe at present we are not playing anymore. We are all a bit indifferent and stressed, and play attitude is gone. But also we don't understand many of the rules of the game anymore. And we think it is about grabbing and taking and desiring and visualizing what I want. Let us get busy on sharing what we have. And I'm not meaning only money or anything, but just that attitude of serving, giving a smile, giving a good word, giving attention, listen to somebody sincerely. We have lost many of these things. And then we feel everything is like, what is the use? Our ignorance is suppressing our higher nature. And so let's open up and explore our higher nature and change things, turn things around. Sing every morning and every evening. Whenever you take a shower, sing. It is like giving to yourself at least a good attitude, giving to the body hormones of lightness. Sing.
What also makes you feel better is if you just smile.
Yeah.
It instantly lifts your mood, whether you're feeling happy or not.
Yeah. Or tell jokes to yourself. Yeah. Don't go watch television, because that, I think, most of the time just makes you depressed. Some complication and intrigues or some whatever, it just messes up the whole. Better to read a good book. Okay, I don't know how time flies. They say no, time flies when you're having fun. It's a different kind of fun, but spiritual fun. Let's close with some moments of silence and appreciate very much all of you and your participation. Very nice. In a bit unusual topic, or at least it is not a topic that is often addressed. So just drop all the thoughts of how, what, when, where, why, who. All these mad thoughts come to disturb your mind. And just come back to the essence that we exist as these invisible players, invisible experiencers, souls, timeless living lights. Beings who belong to that home of light, that silent, infinite expanse. Home of God. And just hold in the mind for a few minutes this image and this awareness of the self as a living light, like a tiny star, but living, conscious, peaceful, serene, free. One who is a child of God is that living light, the soul. One who has an eternal bond of love and belonging with that Supreme One, who is like a friend. Know the self. Know your eternal home. Know the Supreme Parent. And then approach this drama of human life. We have come here to play. Om Shanti. Thank you.